he's an absolute superstar. And on top of that, he's a very humble person. So this story with MLS and with the league, winning the League Cup, it's an incredible script. I mean, it couldn't have written it better. And it's, I think for anybody, a neutral fans from the other teams, you just want to watch him. You just want to sit back and enjoy his skills and his goals, and it will continue. And I know a lot of people are betting now, if they can make the playoffs or not. I would say they make it.
Ali, like the Leagues Cup is a different entity, though. Mm-hmm. One-off games, all the excitement, penalty shootouts, that sort of thing. MLS is a little more of a grind, or is that me being a bit negative towards it, in that you don't get that instant reward each time? It's trying to close a massive gap. Mm-hmm. How much will he be up for that? How the conditions, the travelling, etc., and how much does Tata Martino have to look after him?
You're right, it is a grind. And when you're trying to make a run at the playoffs and they're chasing, and let's not make any mistake about this. This team, prior to the arrival of Lionel Messi, had been terrible. Last of last. 29th out of 29 teams. So the transformation has been clear in front of us, but that's in the short term. How do you recreate that week to week? And how do you make up the difference? Because other teams are playing as well. So not only do you have to start winning games consistently, which you haven't done over the course of the season, but now you need to get help from the teams above you as well. I think Lionel Messi and Inter Miami, and Tata Martino in particular, now have money in the bank. In winning Leagues Cup, you've already saved the season. You've already said, look, the guy has come in, has had an impact. What a wonderful moment this is. Historic moment for Inter Miami. We've lifted a trophy, so on and so forth. If they're unable to make the playoffs, they'll look back, Tata Martino in particular will say, hey, this is the mess that I was put in. This was here before I got here. So what do you want me to do? We did the best we could, but it just wasn't enough.
Right.
But hey, we got a trophy.
Right.
And wait for us next year when actually Lionel Messi has an actual preseason and we have the team that we want on the field, and we're gonna go and make a run for this because MLS is our next target. That is if you don't make it. But if you win the couple of games that you have in hand against Chicago, Montreal, you have 2 games in hand, and those are the teams that are your rivals in terms of making the playoffs. And now it's not a 14-point difference. Now you're like, okay, well, it's 8 points.
Right.
And it's 10 games to go. You're going to give it a go. And you're going to see how close you get to it. And if it's a time to push, then you turn to Lionel Messi and said, hey, all the fun that we were having in Leagues Cup? We need some of that fun right now. Because we need you at your very best. We need to win these games. I think they've run out of time. And I think they've run out of time simply because they don't depend on themselves. They depend on other results above them. But I give them every chance possible to make the playoffs because the teams that are above them are simply not good.
Isn't it just a bit of a harder sell? Like, we need to go out there and do all that again for the next 12 matches or whatever it is. And that's not even to get a trophy. That's to get into the playoffs. No guarantee there.
Sell to who?
To Messi. And to put in that same sort of energy, that same sort of desire.
I think we're backing up the wrong tree here, Danny boy. I think the problem they're going to have is the players around them.
OK.
Messi has been used his whole career of when he steps on the field, he is under pressure to perform.
Right.
Every single time for the last how many years? 14 years?
Yep.
So it's not about Messi and Busquets and Jordi Alba, in my opinion. Can the rest of them around them sustain it for another 14 games?
Right.
14?
14.
I don't think that's possible for those guys.
Right.
I think
12 games left.
12
games.
Okay,
Yes.
12. They've been carried along with all this. But there's a reason why those guys couldn't score a goal, couldn't win a game, couldn't make a tackle, couldn't do anything before Messi and his 2 pals arrived.
Right.
Because they are what they are. Right now, they're riding the wave, man. They're way up the top.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. You know what I mean? They got the ambusculaire on and they're giving it all that. That's the problem. The grind is going to be hard for them, not for Lionel Messi.
So how do you deal with this if you're Tata Martino, Jurgen?
Well, first of all, you enjoy it, obviously. You know, you came on board with Messi, and you changed the entire situation in that city, in that club, and you won already a title. So you qualified for the CONCACAF Champions League by winning the Leagues Cup. Fantastic. This whole story is just a wonderful story. You have nothing to lose now the next 12 games. Yeah, they will win the majority of the games, and as you say rightfully, I mean, it depends on the other results as well and the other teams as well. If they don't make it, okay, they already got a title. They probably win the US Open Cup. It's a cup competition. Then they have maybe 2 titles, and it's going to be all right. I mean, Stevie is right, because the other players, you know, they are right now really riding the wave. I mean, they are just on a high because, you know, being next to Messi on the training field, you know, doing all these things, seeing what he's doing is just incredible energy that he provides to the entire team. Is it doable for 12 games? I think it is. It's possible, definitely. But then, obviously, we see the real situation next year in the next season, how this whole team holds up and how they supplement each other. And but just this short story over the last 6-8 weeks is just an absolute fairy tale story. It's fantastic for soccer in the United States. It's fantastic for the MLS from a global perspective, and obviously the continuation of the Messi story itself is just a script that probably will end up in some Netflix series one day.
To your point, Dan, the question about Lionel Messi and whether this becomes a grind, not only for him, but for Inter Miami. I think what we have seen from him over the last 6 weeks, since he got to MLS and Leagues Cup and everything, is the fun and the enjoyment that he's having on the field. Right. Now, and it's been clear to see. This guy is smiling and laughing, and it's all great, and he's celebrating with his family and the kids, and oh, it's fantastic. What happens when they start perhaps not winning, when they start losing? Because everything has been winning so far. Everything has been fabulous and great. What happens when this team perhaps is not quite delivering the results that they've now come to expect from them? Are we going to see the same sort of laughter and enjoyment, or does frustration creep in? And when that happens, what happens with Lionel Messi? Because we have seen with him, and this is observation. When he's not thrilled, there is a tendency for him to start walking.
That's France, though.
Okay,
in France.
I'm not saying that that's going to happen here. But when things are not going all that well, and frustration, and it's not quite the results that you want, are we going to see the same enjoyment? And if we are, then this team will make a run. But if we don't, then...
Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPN FC 7 days a week. Subscribe to ESPN+.